Hello there everyone, my name is Johnny and I'm here today to show you my Saberforge Emerald Knight lightsaber that I ordered from Saberforge, funnily enough. This is my second review. If you wanted to see about the Obi-Wan Kenobi saber from episode 3, there's a link somewhere to the video I did of that, if you wanted to have a look at that. But today we're going to be looking at the Emerald Knight, and I decided to go for this one because, in my opinion, it's a completely stark contrast between my previous purchase, which was the Redeemer, as it's called on the website, and I really love the design of this. So as you can see from the start, it's actually a lot shorter than the Redeemer hilt that I have as well, and mainly due to the design, obviously, of the Redeemer. It's a standardized, you know, it's got to have certain sections in it, makes it a bit longer. This is nicer. It feels like it should be more of a offhand weapon, because this is a really good grip on the left hand, at least, or the right hand if you're left-handed. I hold this saber pretty much perfectly, and there's no boxes or anything on like the Redeemer to get in your way, and it's very comfortable to spin around here or vice versa on here. And it can also work as a backhand if you have a shorter blade that you want to put in there. So immediately, especially for actually doing something with it, unlike the Redeemer, which I just use for cosplay and pictures and whatnot, this is a lot better for dueling and actually doing stuff with. I know it's based on a lightsaber of a character from the post-episode 6 storylines, who modified it from a speeder bike handle, hence the grippy looking design. It's much more comfortable than the Redeemer. And I love it. So let's get into the details and tell you what's what. So here it is in a bit more detail. I went for the Hero tier, which is the top tier, which comes with multiple fonts or sounds and multiple blade colours as well. I decided to splash out on this because it was one that I figured I could use it for anything, because I don't think it looks particularly good or evil like design. Like some of them, especially the evil ones, look really designed for sort of Sith characters, and this one is more of a generic sort of standard saber. So you've got these little nuts here, I guess you could call them, that actually cover as lock-in nuts for the blade. Now, as you saw, I just pulled something out the top of here. It's not like the Redeemer, which has a thin neck and doesn't come with what's called a blade plug, which is this. This one comes with a blade plug, and it's designed so that nothing gets in the end. I don't know if you can see down there, there's the LED lights, and the saber fits in there. But this is a blade plug to just more for design aesthetics than anything. When there's no blade in it, you haven't got a gaping hole down the bottom of it, making it look a bit odd. This is just designed for aesthetics more than anything else. But yeah, as I said, these little nuts here double up as retention screws for the blade, which I will show you. Now this time I got the 26-inch blade, which was a much shorter one than the 37, which came with my Redeemer hilt. As you can tell, end to end, there's a decent few inches, obviously short. But I think I made a mistake with that, because the saber actually, the blade actually goes a lot deeper into the saber on this one than it does on the Redeemer. So if you look here, you can actually see it's so short, and then with the other one in there, it's that much longer. I can't even quite fit it in frame the whole way. But I'd actually say to get a longer blade for the normal neck sabers as opposed to the thin necks like the Redeemer, just because it goes in that much deeper into the saber, whereas on the Redeemer it would probably go in this far, and then, you know, there's quite a few inches there. So I've put the smaller blade back in just for ease of swinging it around. Comes with a nice external kill key this time, instead of a little plastic nubbin, which I've actually since lost for my Redeemer, which is embarrassing. But they come with a cute little embellishing on there, sorry, of the Saberforge logo. You can see that, which, you know, just a nice little bit of self-promotion there. You can get different actual blade keys, kill keys, for your sabers. You can ask for them on request, or they sell them in their online store. As you could tell already, it made a noise, and these two lights light up. Now I've turned one of my lights off just so you can see it when I turn it on, so here we go. So you may think, oh, we got it in green this time. Well, no, I got it in many different colours. The top button is the ignition button for the saber. While it's on, this second button provides like reflex, like saber blocks or blaster misfire, that sort of thing, which it doesn't provide with the swing. It's just the sound of the saber going. If you hold it down, however, you get a saber clash and flash, as if you're locked into some battle with someone. That sort of thing. Press it again to undo it. And now the great thing about this is, because it's the top tier and it comes with multiple fonts, you don't have to do any button pressing to select your new font or your new colour. You just literally rotate the saber on its axis. Don't know if you can tell, that's kind of like a midnight, well no, actually that's more like a cyan. Rotate again, more of a mint green, which I really like. This is a nice subtle kind of colour. I turn the lights off, but you really wouldn't be able to tell. You wouldn't see me. Once again, purple, everybody's favourite. Well, Mace Windu's favourite anyway. Red comes with a lot of colours. This is red. It doesn't look red on camera. I'm just looking back. It looks more orange, but there is an orange colour there. It does look lighter at the bottom as well on camera. I'm just seeing. The light is brighter, but it doesn't look yellow like this. It looks red. Rotate again. You get a kind of a yellow, which is a more flickering yellow. Here's the blood orange that looks yellow on camera. I tell you what, the accurate colour is the glow that you see on here. That's the accurate colour of the blade in your hand. And then once more. Oh. Another yellow, not sure why. I think this one's a bit better though. And then back to blue. That blue starts on blue, but I left it off on green before. So. And whenever you put the kill key back in, it resets all of your settings. And selecting the fonts is a bit different. You actually do select the fonts while it's not ignited, but the kill key is out with the bottom button. So let me take the blade out, which is very easy to do on this with these screws, by the way, but it also does have a blade retention screw in the back here. Not sure if you can see it. That one is a secondary one, unless you're modifying it, which I don't recommend you do because it's not on their warranty. Do not undo this one. It houses the LED in the bottom. Hang on. That's the LED, and that screw unguards the LED in the bottom and can make it all loose. So don't undo that. So now, yeah, these two are flashing, and you select the font with the bottom one. Father Son, which is the standard font.
Essence Episode 1.
Essence Episode 1 is a darker sounding font, so it's got a really low, evil kind of buzzing. And the hit detection is not very good on this. It's more with like a jerk more than a hit. Doesn't actually do it every time. So it sounds a lot more like Darth Maul's, for example. Episode 2, which is actually more Darth Maul. It's a really evil sounding, and then the clash is similar. A lot shorter hits and more sort of explosive counters, which is kind of cool. 501 Commando, and that's, I think, your standard. Yeah. Ooh. That's a lot more elegant, longer swings. More like Luke in The Falcon on episode 4. And then the hits are standard saber hits. Yeah, not too bad. Now this is Vader's saber sound from episode 5, I think. Yeah. Very much Vader. I think there's one more. Standard issue. Does what it says on the tin. Standard hits, nothing major. And those are all the fonts, and they're quite good combination if you want a dark side, especially if you've got the multiple colours like I have. If you select multiple colours, you'll get multiple fonts anyway, which is quite nice, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I can only have 2 fonts but it'll sound evil and it's a blue blade and I don't like that. But no, you have a choice of 2 different, at least 2 different fonts, I think. To my knowledge, you can get into this by unscrewing the bottom, pulling out the safety ring and taking the speaker out, and there is access to an SD card in the bottom, which you can then modify, I think, and then upload your own fonts to. However, I do not actually know everything about this teir. I've really struggled to find out how to, like my Redeemer, where I can, you know, turn the sound down, turn the flickering up, you know, change the intensity and the hit detection and whatnot. I know how to do that on this one. I do not know how to do it on this one. So if there's anyone out there who does know, please tell me, because I've had this saber a long time and I've just had it on the standard flicker and the standard volume and I've not been able to change it. So if anyone knows, please let me know. Now I have a little idea of another video to do on thin neck versus normal neck sabers, pros and cons sort of thing, but I think I'll leave that for another video because this is just about this. This isn't about the pair. So if you'd like to see that, let me know and I can go ahead and make that. Yeah, this saber is a lot more, I'd say it's actually a lot more complicated than the other one. Like design wise, it's very streamlined, very normal, but the settings in the sound card and all that, they did say that I have a particular sound card. They didn't like send me an email. There's never really any paperwork with it. I actually had to look up how to change the fonts and all that myself. It was showed on another video. If I can find it, I'll put it in the description. But I think that's something that Saberforge could look at doing, just including a little bit of paper explaining, especially when you've got the full teir and you don't know all the functions, just a list of those or something, instructions really. It shows you how to put the blade in, take the blade plug out. That's very standard, very simple instructions for that, which is good. But it's just for the other technical bits that people could really use. And I know a lot of people who buy these sabers are actually they're more tech-wise, that's the word, tech-wise than sort of me. I'm just your standard consumer. So I'm assuming that they assume whoever's buying the top tier stuff knows how it goes together as well. So maybe just something like that, just a piece of paper to go in there, that could just help people with all the bits and pieces that that's not that obvious. So once again, I bought a few accessories with this along with the saber itself. As this is the hero teir, I've got a blade in there with it, obviously, as you saw, which I got the shorter one. The kill key could be considered an extra because it's an external one. Like I showed you, it's got the little Saberforge logo on the back. I also bought another clip holder, but it came and it's the standard kind of movie accurate prop one from the prequel movies. Not like the big sort of the big chunky other one that I had that came with my Redeemer, which I actually prefer on that because it is that much heavier. That's another thing. This is much lighter. This is all aluminium and other bits and pieces like that, whereas this has actual copper and bronze, and the pommel is very thick and heavy, and the sound card is very heavy, the box. This one is just a lot heavier in general, whereas this is a lot lighter. I couldn't give you specifics, I'm afraid, I don't know. But yeah, this is nice belt clip holder. Your sort of standard thing there. Squeeze the sides together and lift out, and squeeze them again to slot back in. An Allen wrench or an Allen key for obviously getting the blade plug in and out, and the saber, as I showed earlier, and another UK plug. So I think that's a standard thing they do now, depending on where they ship to. They give you the appropriate power supply, which is brilliant. So thank you for that, Saberforge. And that's all the accessories I got with it. Not a lot more compared to. It feels like it's not as much as the Redeemer, but with the Redeemer I bought the stand, which thanks to you in the comments of my other video, I now know that you can take the brown off, and it's just a nice black sleek stand, which also I found out in these holes down here. Collection of blade plugs and kill keys if you have multiple of those, and that looks really nice. I think that looks really good. No real nitpicks with this one. It's a completely different design to the Redeemer, which had its restrictions from the design anyway, with the box being in the way, as I said, like you can't really grip it. This one, not a problem. You can hold it pretty much anywhere. There's the CoverTech knob, which, you know, that's fine, but otherwise this is completely easy to hold and duel with as well. Now, I have knocked these two sabers against each other, and I'll put this in my other video about thin neck versus thick neck. This feels a lot more stable because the blade is in there that much more, whereas on the thin neck, yes, Saberforge do say, and yes they are really, duel appropriate. They will work for dueling if you have more than one and you can fight your friends with them, but it definitely doesn't feel as stable. I would recommend if you're getting it for the purposes of dueling, I would say get a normal neck saber, not a thin neck, just so you have that extra security in there, you know, so it feels more secure. Whereas the thick neck is just much better overall. Since having it, it's come a little loose in places. Don't know if you can hear that. It's just a little loose, but I think it's either glued on and the glue's dried and it's broken, just moving slightly. Now, as with the shipping and delivery, that was pretty much the same as the Redeemer, with your standard $60 from USPS for shipping, and then obviously being in the UK, import fees, which were pretty ridiculous this time actually, because the fees were more than I like to admit. Let's just say the fees for importing my Redeemer were in double digits, and the fees for this one were triple. But that is in no way due to Saberforge's fault. It was a more expensive item because I had the top tier with all the extras inside it, with the extra fonts and the extra light blade color options. But what it was customs classing it as what they classed it was, if that makes sense. Basically, the previous saber, I think they knew it was like a prop replica or something similar, whereas this one, it looked like they thought it was some sort of equipment, so they charged more for it. And if I'm honest, I should have really thought that, but you know what it's like when you've got something on its way being ordered, you just want to get it there, you'll do anything to get it there. And yeah, that hurt, that was quite a lot, and I should have fought for it and cheapened it, because I have some paperwork somewhere that they send on the front of the package that's from the customs people themselves that says that what they categorized it under, and what they categorized it under was something like lighting equipment or something like that, and because of that either tax was added on or something stupid like that. So yes, I would check when the customs fees come through, but because it's such a unique item and not really obvious what it is, especially to someone who's not into Star Wars, well, they can't open it for a start. I assume they can't open it. I don't know how it works. But they either scanned it or weighed it, or, you know, read some details on the shipping from Saberforge on the order form, on the actual parcel. But yeah, so I paid quite a lot for this. So please just check your customs fees and all the terms and conditions for that. And if you do get your bill through to say you can't have it till you've paid X amount, which is what they do, and it looks like ridiculously over the top, say, look, this is what it is, it's not something that's more expensive. But otherwise, yeah, this is a really nice saber. I really like this one. Really ergonomically designed, and also definitely reminiscent of what it's supposed to be based on, which is the speeder bike handle. So you can imagine it's just in here, rev rev. I can't do car noises. But yeah, overall really pleased with it. So if you want to grab yourself one of these, this one can come, as they all can, with just any tier you want, which is empty and nothing, light only, light and sound, one of each. And then what I got with this one, which was the hero tier, which was plenty of fonts, sound fonts, and plenty of colours. Like that, if that's one thing that I think this is great about with this, is that the amount of different colours in the blade that you can have. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comments. I will do my best to respond. And the only thing I have left to say is this stand, you know, it's good, but you know, there is room for a third saber, so who knows.